All right, so welcome back, guys. I wanted to certainly make this video to explain what a sinus lift is and what considerations we have to keep in mind when we go about sinus lifts, but also why we need it overall. So you might have been told by your dentist or your implant surgeon that you need a sinus lift procedure. In this video, I'll explain to you what a sinus lift is, why it might be necessary in your case, and what to expect after the procedure. If you want to have dental implants to replace teeth in the back of your top jaw, then you might need a procedure called sinus lift. So to understand what a sinus lift is, we need to understand a little bit about the anatomy of the face and the head. There are a couple of air pockets in the front of the face. Both of them are located on the side of the nasal airways and underneath your eye. So if you put your finger on your cheekbone, right underneath that, there is a cavity that is called the maxillary sinus. People speak about sinusitis. That's an inflammation of the maxillary sinus. So these sinuses help humidify the air and warm it up. The sinuses are also lined by a very thin membrane that coats the pocket from the inside, and it protects them from outside pollutants and bacteria. So why is it even important in the context of replacing your missing teeth that you get concerned with your sinuses? Well, it just so happens that the top back teeth, also called molars, are very close to the maxillary sinus floor. And when you lose those teeth, the floor of the sinus drops down. So sometimes it drops down so much that the amount of bone available for dental implants becomes very limited. And you cannot place an implant in that area, which is our final goal or final purpose. In some cases, the dental bone becomes paper thin and does not even allow dental implants to be placed at all. So in order to place dental implants, we need to receive a prior surgical procedure called sinus lift, which is a bone grafting procedure that aims at filling the lower part of the sinus with bone that eventually becomes your own bone if it's successful. The amount of available bone then now becomes adequate for implant placement. In this procedure, what we do is a small opening on the side of the cheekbone, and then the inner lining or the inner skin of the sinus is then lifted very, very gently in order to create enough space to place the bone material. Also, sometimes you might qualify to receive the implant at the same time as the sinus lift procedure. And this is because you have just enough bone to allow to stabilize the implant, but not enough to have the implant be surrounded by bone. So you need sinus lift procedure, but in your case, you could potentially receive an implant at the same time as sinus lift, which essentially saves you 4 months of healing. Let's talk a little bit about the healing time. The sinus lift procedure requires 6 to 9 months to heal. In the most severe cases, 9 months, and the easiest cases 6 months. And if you qualify to receive dental implants, that is an additional 4 months. So if you receive your dental implants at the same time as the sinus lift, then obviously you essentially take advantage of that procedure and shorten the amount of healing by 4 months. So the total healing time becomes either 6 or 9 instead of 12. So this advantage obviously is considerable, and speak to your provider who will advise you whether or not this is actually possible. Generally speaking, you need 2 to 3 days of rest after this kind of procedure. You should avoid strenuous exercise because strenuous exercise might lead to more bleeding in the area. You should also avoid sneezing with your mouth closed. Your sinus lift specialist would have prescribed anti-allergy medications and anti-inflammatory medications. All of these are in the other videos that I have, so make sure you watch after your surgery care, as well as the sinus lift after surgery special video, to make sure that you're absolutely aware of all of the precautions that you need to take to make sure that your surgery is uneventful. If you have any questions, give us a call or come for a visit. Thank you.